Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here at Cumberland Valley Animal Shelter in Chambersburg, Franklin County. As you all probably have noticed, the weather is cold, and this weekend is supposed to be very frigid. Freezing temperatures overnight, supposed to be around 36 on Sunday. And some new dog laws are in effect for cold weather and for tethering. That's through Libre's law. And to explain exactly what that is, we have a little friend here. And Brittany, who's up for adoption. She's 5 or 6 months old.
Yeah.
Australian cattle mix.
Yeah. Still a pup.
Kristen Tulo with the Humane Society of the United States. You're the Pennsylvania director. And then Jen with Cumberland Valley Animal Shelter. And of course, Brittany. So, kind of explain to people who aren't aware, now that the weather is cold, what the new dog laws are in effect for cold weather and tethering.
Sure. And, continuous tethering, there are a variety of organizations that have positions against that, and that includes the Humane Society of the United States, the Pennsylvania Vet Medical Association, and an increasing number of state and federal agencies, including the United States Department of Agriculture. So our House Bill 1238, now Act 10 of 2017, had an anti-tethering section. For the first time in Pennsylvania, we have a state law that prevents 24/7 tethering, and most importantly, this time of year, inclement weather regulations.
Ginny Weaver says hello.
Oh,
Christian.
hi.
Kristen, you're
Yes.
awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Vincent
You are
said
too.
beautiful.
Oh, Brittany.
I guess so. So what exactly are the new rules with cold weather? What are the temperatures? How long can the dog be left out?
Yes. So under the new law, if an animal cannot be tethered longer than 30 minutes in temperatures above 90 degrees or below 32 degrees. From there, the dog has to be provided with sanitary shelter that allows the animal to maintain normal body temperature and keeps the animal dry. So whether you're bringing your animal into your home or you have provided a shelter that meets those criteria, again, a really great step in the right direction for those dogs that are either tethered as a means of confinement or are considered an outdoor dog. Yeah.
So dogs cannot be left outside for more than 30 minutes if it's 32 or under.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
What are some of the different penalties?
Yeah, so what we love about this new law as well is that, there are a variety of different components within the tethering section. And I think a lot of clarification that when an animal cannot be tethered more than 9 hours within a 24-hour period, and one of the components of that is also important in this element because we want to make sure that humane officers are utilizing these as an opportunity to educate on the new law. So if a humane officer goes out, they can either cite the person if they do deem that the animal is in a neglect situation based on the new law, which would be anywhere from a summary offense from $50 to $750 to up to 90 days jail time. To if there is bodily injury or severe bodily injury, which would move that to a misdemeanor or felony level charge, which could be anywhere from, this definitely increases the penalty for the number, the penalty fine, and also for jail time.
And what's that penalty, the maximum penalty for the third-degree felony?
It can be, I believe it's up to 7 years jail time. We'll have to double check that.
And Gladys Stump says, thank you for saying this. So many animals suffer.
Definitely they do.
And kind of speaking about that, I know we were talking about this earlier. So what are some of the different things that can happen to a dog if the dog is left outside in freezing weather?
Yes, we do receive calls, especially because of the new legislation, as Kristen was mentioning, and we have seen frostbite, obviously. We have seen frozen paw pads, any kind of thing that a person can go through, an animal can go through in freezing, and this can be all the way up to death. And there were also points that were made earlier this afternoon that any kind of ailment that the dog might suffer, arthritis, it's going to be made much, much worse. Again, animals are very much like people. They can suffer from the same maladies that we have, and during cold weather, it can get a lot worse. Can your little monster face? Look at that face. It's smushable. Oh, I love the face. Yes, I do. So yes, so a lot of times those are the calls that we get. So we do receive calls. We do have a humane police officer on staff at the shelter, and we will respond to the calls, particularly when the weather gets bad. So keep a lookout, gang.
And Lori Harvest says, great work again.
Hi, Lori.
And I know you were talking earlier about some of the different issues that dogs can have if they're left outside in freezing weather.
Yeah.
What are some of those?
Yeah, and so continuous tethering can have psychological damages, anywhere from a normally docile dog who becomes anxious or aggressive to physical damages. Specifically during the winter months, you see cracked, bleeding paws, anything from frostbite to hypothermia. There are also situations where if an animal has a medical situation where the winter months can just make that worse. With animal, for example, arthritis could be an example of that. And so it's really important that we keep our pets safe and warm in these winter months. And if you see something, say something. And while we're still working out the new law, and especially with the time enforcement of 9 hours, we know that there are ways to do that with having a neighbor who might be able to monitor that with a camera. We know that this is a step in the right direction, because the first time ever, you cannot tether your dog longer than 9 hours within a 24-hour period. And during periods of inclement weather, no longer than 30 minutes in temperatures above 90 or 32 degrees. So no longer are you able to see a dog on a tree that's tied out without any shelter. They must be provided with sanitary shelter that allows them to maintain normal body temperature and keep that animal dry. So again, huge step, and our humane officers and law enforcement have a great opportunity to build relationships with people and educate on the new tethering section of the law.
And you said before there have been some reports of dogs frozen to the ground with it being so cold out.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, these situations can be so serious that death does happen. Yes.
So if someone is seeing something that, it's snowing outside or it's 20 degrees out, and the dog is outside for more than 30 minutes, what should they do?
So if you contact your humane officer, and you can search on the Department of Agriculture for Pennsylvania website, you can search your humane officer by county. And Cumberland Valley Animal Shelter does have a humane officer here. And if you do not have a humane officer in your county, there are 8 counties across Pennsylvania that do not, then you contact local police or state police to respond to the cruelty neglect call.
And what message would you have for dog owners who maybe think, oh, well, it's okay if I leave my dog out for an hour when it's cold?
Don't do it. There you go. Simple as that. Really consider the temperature, consider the breed, consider your dog. We at the animal shelter, and certainly I know our friends at HSUS in Pennsylvania, where Kristen works, we would love to see animals considered part of the family, and not chew on people's shoes.
She's a puppy.
But we would really like, animals to be considered a part of your family. So if you wouldn't leave a family member out in the cold, please don't leave your dog out in the cold. So that basically is what it is. And just be considerate of the animal, and certainly be considerate of the temperatures, because they will respond to cold just like we do. So keep that in mind for sure.
I know from being back, kind of off topic, you have a lot of cats that you need adopted.
We do have a lot of cats. Yes, we do.
But you're completely full,
Yeah,
even
we are.
cats on the dog side.
Yes, we have cats on the dog side. We have cats where we're not supposed to have cats. We have cats in our grooming room, in our treatment room, in our executive director's office, in our humane police officer's office, and we have cats in our dog kennels. We have about 200 cats in our care total right now. That is in our adoption kennels, in our isolation kennels, Petco, PetSmart, and our foster homes. So if anybody loves cats, I see you out there.
And you have a lot of very friendly ones.
We have sweet, sweet cats for sure. And I do want to talk about this one because my executive director will be mad at me if I don't. One of the others will watch
This
it.
is Brittany.
This is Brittany. Cattle dog mix, near as we can tell. She's 6 to 7 months old, and she's deaf. Cannot hear anything. When I go into her kennel to get her, if she's asleep, she does not hear the door latch open. She does not hear you at all. And so this one's going to be tricky. So for folks out there who look at this face, it's smushable. Look at it. Mwah. And she's so kissable and is such a sweet little girl. But keep in mind, cannot hear you. She will not hear you if she gets off leash. She will not hear a car coming. So this one's going to take definitely a special person. But just a doll. Yes. Just a doll, baby. Don't bite my chin. You'll bite me. She's very puppy. But is
Although
very, very sweet girl.
for her age, she's calm
doing
compared
really
to some
well.
puppies.
Absolutely. She's doing remarkably well compared to her age. But I love all the fact she can't use her ears, but they go up. You can't use them. But they go up. But anyway, she's a very good little girl looking for a home. Anybody that's out there that thinks this one might be for you, come in. Any kitty lovers, get in here. We've got tons of kitties. We'll get you matched up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Come on in. We've got cats, we've got dogs, we've got parakeets. Get in here and adopt
Small
some
animals.
We do have some small animals. So yeah, we've got a lot of babies looking for homes. Sweet babies like this, sweet kitties for sure. So stop on by. And again, in this weather, wrap up. Make sure your grandma, your kids, you, and these 4-legged guys. And she's very intent because she can see, obviously, but not so much with the hearing. So she's watching outside to see people, and she's giving touch. Oh my gosh, you're engaged now. You're engaged.
She's definitely very sweet
She's
and
a very
affectionate.
sweet girl. Yeah, she definitely is. So if you guys are interested, stop on out. And of course, as I said, with this weekend, as it's getting a little chillier, make sure every family member, including the 4-legged ones with the paws, are watched out and cared for.
Well, thanks very much, ladies, for
We appreciate it.
joining us.
And
Short version of the story will be on tonight at 7, and then the full story will be on tonight at 11 on ABC 27. So make sure to tune in for that. Not quite terribly cold today, but it is supposed to get very cold this weekend on Sunday. So stay warm, keep your pets warm, and have a great day.